Jenna Peakor here with My Generosity Estate Sales, and I'm also a real estate agent. I do those two things together usually. A lot of them, they both kind of go hand in hand in a lot of ways. And I am a real estate agent that also caters very heavily to our senior population, people that are downsizing their homes, and would meet in the market for an estate sale. Now, what is an estate sale exactly? Well, a garage sale is a sale that you have in your garage. An estate sale is a sale that you have inside of your estate or your home. And it's usually the sale of everything remaining in the home. So whereas in a garage sale, you're trying to get rid of stuff because you still want to live in that home, typically with an estate sale, it is for children or children of senior adults or seniors who are downsizing, who just want to get rid of all of the things that you might accumulate over a period of a lifetime, but that you no longer need. So I'm standing out in one of my homes that I'm currently doing an estate sale for. This is the garage. We are in the process of organizing and pricing all the items in the garage. But the family has gone through and said, you know what, we don't need any of these things anymore. Our parents don't need them anymore. They're living in an assisted living community. So let's go ahead and sell all these items. And a lot of times these estate sales are had because not only do the items need to get rid of, but these are all this is money that you can make that goes towards the care of a loved one if they are still living, or it goes towards funeral arrangements, or it could go towards just the estate in general. And so estate sales can be very lucrative, although not all of them are. Typically what I do in my estate sale business is I am not going to be one of the higher end estate sales. There are estate sale companies that just do higher end homes that are very large, that have a lot of antiques. I can do that, but in my neck of the woods in Grand Prairie, Texas, a lot of times they're going to be homes that are between 1,500 square feet and 4,000 square feet. And it's just a lot of the things that are still left. Sometimes if it's not enough to where it's you can still make some kind of money off of it, and you could still pay me to do it, but it's more than what you would donate, but not as much as maybe it's too much for garage sale, it's too much to donate, and you just want to make a little bit of money. Sometimes that's the kind of client that I cater to. In this case, I don't know if these clients really knew what to expect that they would make, but they just didn't really want to go through everything because there's a lot of stuff here. So that's what they're hiring us for. So let's go through the house and we can talk about, how we charge, how we go about doing an estate sale, and whether an estate sale might be right for you or your family. So this is a living room. There's 2 living rooms in this house. And a lot of the stuff that you see here is things that I moved in here as I've gone through and organized the property. But this is pretty typical of what I would walk into in a typical estate sale. There is furniture, lamps, there are Christmas decorations and televisions, and in this case, there's a bar with a lot of glassware. And every single house is going to be a little bit different in the things that they've collected over the years. But for the most part, this is what it looks like. And my job is to go through and organize everything so that we can see it for sale, and it can be displayed where people can actually see it, and where everything is priced. So as I go through and organize everything, my first job is to organize, my second job is to price, and then my third job is to sell all the items and advertise the sale so that enough people come to buy everything. So what you're paying an estate sale company for is really the labor, but the money comes from a percentage of the proceeds of the sale. And the way that we do it at My Generosity Estate Sales is that we charge a minimum of, and it can vary, but typically it's a minimum of about $2,000 or 35 to 40%, depending on the size of the house and how much stuff they actually have in it, whichever one is higher. And just keep that in mind, that you're paying for the labor. A lot of this stuff takes time. This particular sale is going to take a whole month to get ready. And that's with a couple of people working on it. So I do have a couple helpers that come in, and one of my helpers is focused entirely on the garage. Another one of my helpers is going to be focused entirely on helping me move pieces of furniture that I can't do myself. But then my job is just to go through, empty out all these boxes, put like items in different parts of the house, um, and then price it accordingly. So that's really what you're paying for. You don't really want to do an estate sale unless the person that lives in the house is no longer living in the house. Typically, I don't do estate sales if someone is still living there. It becomes too difficult. And not only that, it's very emotionally taxing. I don't care how much people think that it's not. It's very emotionally difficult to give up items, especially ones that you haven't seen, because what happens is, like, take these boxes, for example. These boxes might have been packed up for several years and nobody knows what's inside of them. And then all of a sudden I pull something out and it's that ornament that mom or dad got whenever I was 10 years old, or it's that thing that's got the sentimental value. And that is very difficult for people to see. So if you live in a house and you're constantly seeing all day long all the things that I'm pulling out of boxes and putting up, it's very hard. So usually estate sales happen when someone has either passed on or they've moved in either with a family member or in a different community, maybe an assisted living community or a senior housing development or something like that. And that I can come in and we will work random times of the day. I had to work outside, and last week it was raining, so I kind of had to adjust my schedule and do things inside when I had the good light and things like that. So we usually are given a key or some type of way to get into the house, and we come and go as we need to get ready. So this is the kitchen area. I just recently went through the whole pantry and got rid of food. That is something that we do in every sale. We will, if it's good food that is unopened, that is not perished and not expired, we could donate those to a food pantry. But a lot of times the food just gets tossed because we don't want to sell food from someone else's home that has been opened. So once I went through, I kind of pulled out all this glassware and all the different things that would come in a kitchen. And then we're also selling items like the refrigerator. We have appliances in the house, microwave, oven, things like that are all things that we're selling. So the drop dead date is something that's really, really important. A lot of times what I found is that there's usually one sibling that is kind of left holding the bag, so to speak, that is the one that's responsible for trying to help mom or dad get rid of the stuff that's in their house. Either they live the closest to the house and maybe the other siblings have moved elsewhere and can't come into the house and organize it, or maybe one has retired and has more time during the day to be able to come into a house. But what will happen is one sibling will want to do the sale and want to get rid of everything, and the other siblings have a hard time getting the stuff out of the house that they no longer want, and just really saying, this is when we're going to do this. And so one of the things that I try to help my clients with is being that bad guy for families so that they can go ahead and move on to the next step, which is getting that estate sale done, then getting that house sold so that mom or dad's estate can have the equity from that house and the equity from the items from their estate sale. So I help move that process along. So if you're in a situation where you just can't, like, let's say that you come in here, let's say that all of this glassware, one of the siblings wants all of it and they don't want to get rid of anything. And you're the sibling that's kind of been the one doing all these things. And you say, hey, listen, Joe Bob, I need you to come get this glassware. And he says, I'll come. I'll be there. I'll come and do it next week. And then next week comes and it's not done. And then the week after that comes and it's not done. And Joe Bob really wants all that stuff, but he's really not prioritizing getting all that stuff out of the house. Well, that's where I could come in. And that first paragraph of my contract is the drop dead date. And it says, by this date, everything that needs to be out of the house that's not going to be sold needs to be gone. If it's not, then it's going to either be sold or you're going to have to buy it back from the sale. And I do this because, like I said, I'm trying to help family members that have really held on to all of these things for far too long and need to do something about it. Because I've found this is very overwhelming for a lot of people to go into a house with this much stuff. And especially if it's the stuff that they grew up in or a house they grew up in, it's very, very overwhelming. So they push it off and procrastinate. And the time comes where they just are tired of dealing with it and they need to move on to the next thing, but they have difficulty getting family members to get behind them so that they can actually do it, or they're just not sure when the right time is. And that is one of the things that I am trying to do when I come in, is to help people make sense of that next step, really talk to the family about what their options are, and then help them take that next step so that they can move on. Because eventually, all of these wonderful items, the house, all this stuff, while it's meaningful and sentimental, it becomes an albatross around your neck that you have to carry around with you all the time. It's that monkey on your back. It's the thing that is always just there, that you know that you have to do, but that you just can't seem to take the step to do it. And then 2 and 3 years later, you're still worrying about this one thing. And we want you to get that monkey off your back. Take that albatross from around your neck. Let's do it so that we can get you to that, to the freedom of not having to worry about it anymore, and to put some money into mom and dad's bank account that they desperately need, if they're, especially if they're still alive, to take care of their care and their health needs in their older age. So if this is you and you are somebody that, you just have this thing that you've been needing to do, call me and we can talk about it. Not only can I do the estate sale for you, but I can also sell your house. And one of my biggest priorities as a real estate agent is to protect people's equity. When people go to do an estate sale, especially, there's a lot of investors that come out of the woodwork. And I'm sure even if you haven't had an estate sale, you probably get a lot of calls and postcards from people in the mail that want to buy your house. And they want to offer you a lot less money for it than what it's worth. And my job, and one of the things that I am passionate about, truly passionate about, especially for our senior adults that are most vulnerable to being taken advantage of by investors, is to protect your equity. This is a house that you have invested in. It's a real estate investment, and you're owed every single penny of equity that you have put into this house, and that is coming to you. And that is something that I aim to do both with estate sales and with real estate. So my cell phone is 214-558-4410, and I would love to help you through this next process. I'm very good at talking through options and just really hearing your story. This is an emotional time. It can be very sentimental time. I've heard all of the stories and I know what you're going through, and I'm here to help make this a positive experience for you and for your family. So I hope to hear from you soon. Bye.